Hi, everybody. Welcome to TheShow.live. Mitch Jackson, along with my co-host, Jennifer Hoverstad, who will be joining us in just a second, bringing you a very, very special guest today on another beautiful Monday. Let me see. Come on, Jennifer, come on in. Looks like there's a firewall blocking Jennifer, but while she's joining us from a different location, and I'm going to let her share what she's doing, we have an amazing guest on today, Sunny Lenarduzzi. And Sunny, I had the pleasure of watching speak down at Social Media Day San Diego. She rocked the stage. She's doing amazing things with video, and we can't wait to have Sunny on the show. Sunny, we'll be bringing you on. I can't see you, Jen. We'll be bringing you on in about 5 or 10 minutes. So my question to you, Jennifer, is can you see me? I think maybe it's your end of the connection. So let me, and this is great, you guys. While Jennifer's kicking the tires with the Wi-Fi at her end, we have some great shows coming up. Joel Comm, Gary Vaynerchuk. Our schedule is at TheShow.live. We've got some amazing past guests. Jennifer, can you see me? Hi, Sunny. It's good to see you. We'll bring you in a couple of minutes. Thanks for joining us today. Let's see here. Let me just type. Hey, Chris, it's good to see you. Chris Strubbs is here. Let me see. Jennifer, can you see me? And it looks like, Jennifer, I'm getting a message here that there's a firewall blocking your connection. So let me ask you to click the link and come back in. We'll see what happens. Sorry about that, guys. Live video, that's what happens. Come on, Jennifer, I know you're there. Chris, if you're in the audience, Nick, you're in the audience, good to see you. Can you guys see Jennifer at your end? No, you cannot. Nick, who is one of the co-founders of Huzza. Nick, would you like me to refresh or should Jennifer refresh? Okay, Jennifer's refreshing. Just Jennifer, okay. And while Jennifer's refreshing, and she's got some exciting news, she's doing something fun, and that's why she's off site today and having some technical glitches, and I'm going to let her share that with you. This has been a fun weekend. You guys like my shirt? The shirt was given to me by my daughter. She just started law school at USC. I was so excited to get this shirt. Go Trojans, fight on. And she's starting her second week of classes today, so it's exciting times, everyone. I think what we should do is, Sunny, I am going to go ahead and invite you in because we've met and there's no reason why we just can't start sharing you with our audience. Okay, and so what I'm going to do, oh, there she is. You are always keeping me on my toes.
Well, shout out to Nick for telling me to refresh because that's what did it.
It's good to see you.
Thank you. It's good to see you too. And a very happy belated birthday to you, Mitch. How was the birthday weekend?
Everything was fantastic. Had dinner with the family. I was just pointing out to the audience this wonderful shirt that my daughter gave me that I absolutely love and I'm honored to wear. Fight on Trojans. They've got a big game coming up against Alabama. But it's good to see you, Jennifer. And for those of you just joining us, do us a favor. This is TheShow.live. We're sharing amazing people that are disrupting industries, that are creating change on a global level, both with live stream, with social, with live video, and as entrepreneurs, all of the above. And today we have Sunny Lenarduzzi as our special guest today. And Jennifer, I don't know what you did or didn't hear, but I've kind of covered most of the background for today's show. And if you're ready to rock and roll, I think we should just bring Sunny in. What do you think?
Okay, hold on, Mitch. Can you see me, hear me now?
I can.
Okay, good. All right, so I literally have to shut down everything for this to work. So I'm sorry, you were a little bit choppy there.
I'm always choppy. I'm always choppy, and it's all good. What I was going to suggest is I'm going to send Sunny a invite to join us, okay, and just dive right in. So, Sunny, when you get the link, give us a click, and we'll bring you in, and we'll just jump right into the show.
Absolutely. And so while Sunny is coming in, I will give her a quick introduction. So for those of you who don't know Sunny, most recently, hi Sunny, I got to see her speak at Social Media Days San Diego, but Sunny has about a decade of broadcasting experience. She started out in more of a formal journalism context, reporting. I know at one time she was actually a weather girl, which is awesome. And that has just led into her career as a social broadcaster. You guys probably know Sunny from her YouTube channel, where she basically teaches you everything you need to know about how to make awesome video content. So Sunny, thank you so much for joining us today. It is a pleasure to have you on TheShow.live.
Can't hear you, Sunny.
Oh yeah.
Sorry about that. So
it's the Jennifer effect today.
But I wouldn't want to be anyplace else than with the two of you.
Hey,
so Sunny, up in the URL browser bar on Chrome, you'll see a little microphone type of dealie. If you click it, you can select the correct mic up on top.
Nick Rishwain, thank you for sending that selfie. For those of you who are in the audience, we'd also love to see your selfies.
So are you using Google Chrome, Sunny? Okay, so up on top on the far right over by the star, in the browser bar, you should see a little camera. And if you click on that, it will allow you to make the correct selections. And
then it sounds like you may need to refresh. Chris Straub, what's up?
So Jennifer, while Sunny's adjusting her audio, did you have a good weekend?
I had a terrific weekend. So got to go to a wedding and see some friends and just enjoy, a solid North Carolina 100-degree summer weekend in August. So it was fantastic.
Oh my goodness.
Sunny, Nick from Huzza is saying in our comments that you'll probably need to refresh the page. So we'll invite you back in. So yeah, but it was a fantastic weekend, and looking forward to the long weekend coming up. And of course, you guys, for you joining us, we are not taking a break from TheShow.live this weekend. We have Mr. Joel Comm coming on next Monday. So you are going to want to make sure, especially if you have off work, just enjoy an afternoon and conversation with Joel Comm. I'm sure it's going to be fun.
And we've got Gary Vaynerchuk showing up after the week after Joel. And then we're moving the show to Wednesdays, 1 p.m. Is it Pacific time? 4 p.m. Eastern?
Yes, 4 p.m. Eastern. That's correct. I hear you, Sunny.
Yay!
I don't see you yet, but I hear you. There you are.
I see you. You look fantastic. You sound great.
Thank you.
And thanks for being on today's show, Sunny. Really means the world to both Jennifer and me.
I'm so happy to be here. And I was saying when no one could hear me, this is my first time on this platform. And to Nick, who's in the comments, I know this is an incredible platform. I'm super impressed thus far.
They do a fantastic job. And thanks everyone for joining us. Please share this out on social if you would, please. We're going to dive right into some Q&A. I first had the opportunity to say hi to Sunny down at Social Media Day San Diego. It was so nice of you to come over and say hi. But I got to watch you on stage, Sunny, and you really rocked the stage. I thought you were one of the top presenters down at San Diego. You're a gifted presenter. And I think that's one reason you do video so well, is that you walk, you talk, you've got a great deal of experience. I was looking at your bio, and in your bio, after the, the 2010 Winter Olympics and Paraplegic Games, you had an aha moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't see what that aha moment was, and that's what catapulted you, I think, to where we are today. What was that aha moment? And
it's funny. I would say over the last year, I've had a lot of people say to me, you kind of came out of nowhere, but this has been about a 7-year overnight success story, I guess. But so after the 2010 Winter Olympics, my biggest goal in life was to report at the Olympics and to be a reporter. I knew from the time I was a kid, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to work in the communication and media field because I liked people. I liked educating people. I liked informing people. I liked helping people. But after the Olympics, I realized that I wasn't really able to have the creative freedom that I always wanted. And I've always been an entrepreneur from the time I was a kid. I was that kid who had lemonade stands and created my own skincare line when I was like 6 years old. And yeah, so I just always knew I wanted to have my own business. And when I did the Olympics, I was still being told, you know, what to say, what to wear, how to say it, where to be, and still having to work within a lot of controls and confines. And I decided the day after I got home, I was like, you know what, I'm going to start my own business. So I started an online magazine. Knew nothing about the online space at that time, and taught myself everything, sold advertising space door to door in Vancouver, and pitched businesses on why they should advertise with me, and built it up to be a pretty credible magazine online, and built the brand enough strictly through social media that I had a lot of businesses locally and then internationally coming to me and saying, obviously, you know how to use social media to build a brand and build a business, so can you do that for us? And that's how my social media consultancy was born. And I did that for about 4.5 years without talking about what I did, without even thinking or trying to brand myself. And then about 4.5 years later, I was like, you know what? I miss my broadcasting roots. And then I partnered with Hootsuite on this social update series, which increased their subscriber base on YouTube by 75%, saw a huge need for education in this space. And then I started doing my own YouTube videos. And I really started creating my own YouTube videos because my clients at the time were asking the same questions over and over again. And I was like, man, it would save me so much time if I just had a video I could send them instead of spending time on the phone or in person explaining things. And so I made my first video on Periscope, how to use Periscope for business. And I thought I might get a couple hundred views on it because at the time I basically had no subscribers, no views on my channel. And then in a week I had 1,000 views, then 2 weeks, 2,000 views, and now it's like 80,000 views. And I knew I was onto something. So I just started doing tutorials every week.
That's awesome.
So a 7-year overnight success.
A 7-year overnight success. There is no such thing as overnight success. I think we can all attest to that. Unless you're after viral fame, no such thing as overnight success.
Well, and I love your videos too, Sunny, because they are so digestible. And I think that now knowing kind of the backstory as to why you made them, that makes so much sense because it is. What did you find? How did that change your working relationships with your clients? Like sending the videos. I mean, obviously that takes away a little bit of kind of like one-on-one that you may have. But what did you find you were able to achieve more of because you were doing videos instead?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, like when I started my consultancy and I had my business, I was like, I'm living the dream. I've got my own business. I can work from wherever I want. I just need my laptop. And then it just kept growing and growing and growing. And there's only one of me. And I've never envisioned myself having an agency. I've never envisioned myself having a big, huge team. And so I was like, if I'm going to scale this business, I have to find a way to either clone myself or create content to answer questions that I'm getting regularly. And so that was the idea. And honestly, through YouTube, I opened myself up from having like 10 to 20 clients a year to having 3 million people see me and know who I am and find me through YouTube in 1 year. So the amount of clients, the amount of business that's come my way, and honestly, the amount of opportunities, media, things like this that have come my way strictly because of YouTube has been incredible. I mean, Social Media Day San Diego, the reason I was there was probably because of YouTube. So, yeah, I mean, it's opened my world and it's changed my life and my business so much for the better.
For those of us that don't have broadcasting backgrounds, who are interested in taking our passions, our interests, maybe even our businesses onto the video platforms, do you have any quick tips for us on being better presenters, on being better broadcasters? Because you're extremely polished, and it was something that I think we'd all like to improve upon.
Thank you. Yeah, my number one tip is a little against the grain, I think, but this goes for speaking and it goes for video. It's actually taking yourself out of the equation. People always ask me, do you get nervous when you go and speak in front of a couple hundred people? And the answer is no. And yes, I've had experience in this before, but it doesn't really matter what you're talking about as long as you know what you're talking about and you're an expert in it and you're there to help people and know that the audience is going to walk away learning something. It takes you out of the equation. So I'm not standing there thinking, what do I look like? What do I sound like? All of those issues. I'm there because I want to genuinely help people and I want them to walk away from whether it's my presentation or my video saying, I get it, light bulb moment. I can go and put this into my business. I can build a brand this way. It's going to make my life easier. So it's truly taking yourself and your own ego out of the equation. And I always tell this story, that first video that I filmed, the one on Periscope, because I didn't anticipate there would be a large audience for it. I actually filmed it in my pajamas, and I hadn't washed my hair that day. And I just used the natural light in my apartment and a webcam. So, and that's one of my most successful videos. So it truly does not matter what you look like. What matters is the quality of the content, period, end of story.
Good lesson.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. I'm curious too, you know, talking about your business, just the amount of success you've achieved over this period of time. What kind of team do you work with? I mean, all we see is Sunny on the outside, but you know, like you said, you made the videos in order to scale the business, but you know, a lot of us who are either on social channels or we're doing this for our own businesses, we don't see what goes on behind the scenes for Sunny. So do you have a team that's helping you?
I do, yeah. So I was solo for about 6 years really, and didn't have anybody on my team. And then 1 year ago today, almost to the day, I brought on my first team member. Her name's Ayla. She's sitting across from me right now, giving herself a pat on the back. And she has been truly a godsend. And she's such a rarity because she's a Jill of all trades, and she can do basically everything. So she has helped me grow the business so much in the last year. And then I also brought on a videographer, an editor to edit and do everything with my videos. But for the first year, I did it all by myself. And I think one of the biggest issues is that people look at video and go, oh my God, this is going to increase my workload so much and I don't have the time. But if you do it the right way, you don't necessarily have to spend a time to get a huge reward, especially with live video. So those two are my main two team members. And then I also have a business partner who I just recently partners with, Brandon Lucero, who's also really, really, really incredibly smart in the YouTube space and has built a really great business out of it, called Sold with Video. So we partnered on my latest course that I just finished the launch of, and it's called Boss Video Branding. And he is incredibly smart as far as technical, back-end, sales, all of that kind of stuff. I'm really the branding, marketing, creative side of things. And we mesh really well together, and I'm really, really grateful for him.
One of the things that you just mentioned is going about doing video correctly. Any insider tips you can share with us? What were you thinking about when you made that statement?
Well, doing video correctly for me means at the end of the day, it kind of goes back to what I was saying about how you get comfortable on camera and how you present well on camera. And that's really realizing that it's about the quality of the content and getting into the content as quickly as possible. And I think one of the things that people forget about when they create video content, particularly for YouTube, is that YouTube is a search engine. And generally, people are not going there to look for me. People aren't going to YouTube to look up Sunny Lenarduzzi. They're going there to look up how to get more views on YouTube. How do I use Twitter? How do I use Snapchat? And I'm just positioning myself to be found by this brand audience by creating content around that. So in my videos, you'll probably notice that a lot of the times they get into the content almost immediately, because if you don't, people will tune out. So I think that's one of the biggest keys to creating really powerful videos that actually convert your viewers into potential leads and customers, and getting them off of your YouTube platform and onto your email list or into your store or onto your e-commerce site, because you're giving them content immediately that they can use, and you're not sitting there going, this is me, this is what I'm about, this is why you need to watch this video, because they already know. That's why they're searching for the answer.
Real quick, Jennifer, Sunny, when I'm giving my opening statements, most lawyers will introduce themselves, their clients, thank the jury for being there. Jurors don't want to be there.
Yeah.
And what I started doing about 15, 20 years ago is that first 2 or 3 minutes, I dive right into a short story, explaining my client's case and try to captivate the attention of the jury. Right. And then take a step back and then do some of the other things that we kind of have to do. And I found that to be very, very effective. And it's interesting to hear you mention that with preparing videos. It makes sense to me.
Totally.
Yeah, totally. Because you got to capture their attention right away or you're going to lose them.
Yes. And again, it's not about you.
And it's not
about you.
I know. There she is. She's back. Jennifer is just keeping us on our toes today. I would not be anything without Jennifer, Sunny. I just want you to know that. She carries this show each and every week. Are you back?
I am back. That is. I apologize.
But tell us
I like it.
Tell us
Yeah,
who you are. What are you doing, Jennifer?
You guys deserve an explanation. So about 45 minutes ago, I was invited to come to a private social media strategy session with Ted Rubin. And so I am here in the offices. That session starts at about 3 o'clock Eastern time. So that is, I'm in a space I've never been in before with Wi-Fi I've never worked with before. So my apologies to
That's all good.
everybody here.
All good.
It sounds like you have a good
in your
pass.
shoes. Okay.
So Sunny, let's talk about, like, I mean, obviously your work is fascinating. I've certainly picked up a lot of tips on your videos, but recognition recently, you were named to BC's top 30 under 30.
Yes.
Tell us about that honor. What did you think when you saw your name on that list?
I was very surprised.
Yeah.
I was surprised, but I think something that I've learned over the last year is that, and something that a lot of people don't know about me is that as much as I'm on camera and I'm presenting and speaking, I'm actually an introvert and I don't love attention. I get actually quite uncomfortable with it. So I've learned to say thank you and not try and justify things and not say, well, I was only on there because, and I'm owning it because you know what, it's been a lot of work. It continues to be a lot of work, but it doesn't feel like hard work because I love what I do. And I'm really, really proud of everything that I've accomplished and my team has accomplished, particularly in the last year, but also the groundwork from 21 years old until now, building a business and learning a lot along the way. So as much as I was kind of like surprised, especially to be on the cover of it, I'm very, very grateful to be on that list. And it's an incredible group of people to be in amongst. So very grateful.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Congratulations. Sunny, how important is having the right mindset when breaking out and venturing onto the digital platforms and specifically social media? The reason I'm asking you that is your family has a very athletic background.
Yes.
We're a soccer family. Your dad was a professional soccer player.
Yes.
Your grandfather was a famous one-armed rugby player.
Yes, he was.
And there's something about athletes, I think, where they bring a certain intensity
Yep.
in their DNA to whatever they do. When I'm trying cases, if I know opposing counsel was a college athlete, I bring my A game because I know they're going to. It's just something I've noticed over the past 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Mindset in what we're talking about today. How did your upbringing affect your mindset, and how can we tap into that? What are some takeaways so that we can do better, over the upcoming weeks with our live streaming and our recorded video efforts?
Well, I think this is hard to sum up because there's so many lessons, and I credit my family a lot for where I'm at in my life now. And I'm super tight with my family and very grateful for everything that they've advised me on. But my grandpa, he was very impressive research, by the way. Yes, my grandpa was a one-armed rugby player, played international rugby. And he always told me it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. And so it always made me feel like I'm on an even playing field with everybody. And it doesn't matter how much experience somebody else has or what their ego looks like. As long as I'm bringing my A game, I can compete with anybody. And on that note, when it comes to competition, and my dad definitely taught me this, that the only person you're really competing with is yourself at the end of the day. And you just need to be better than you were yesterday. And if you start focusing too much on external factors in anything in your life, you'll get thrown off because there's always going to be someone smarter, better, faster, stronger than you. But all you can control is your work. And I do really believe that work will win every day. Your work ethic will win every day. So anybody who knows me knows that I have a crazy work ethic. Some would say workaholic, but I will outwork anybody. And I know that that's a superpower of mine, especially when I'm
what you're doing.
Yeah, I enjoy what I'm doing. That's the thing. And my dad always taught me that too. He was like, you know what? If you love what you do, the money will follow. And it's very true. And one of the biggest keys as well is that my dad was always when I was younger, he was like, have you done your best when I had some sort of big project or big goal? And as long as I said, yes, I've done my best, he said, that's all you can do. So bringing your best to every moment of your life, every conversation that you have, just do your best, be your best, and you'll set yourself up for success.
Great advice.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What do you think, Sunny, when you left kind of more the traditional media, I assume it was probably a traditional media type workplace, you reported to someone, you had set hours where you had to work. What was the biggest mental hurdle for you that you had to overcome when you went out on your own?
It's funny. I felt like I landed where I needed to be, as much as it was hard, and it remains hard. And I think the biggest hurdle is like, you're free to do what you want. And I don't actually think entrepreneurship is for everybody. And I think it's been glorified a lot in the last little while. And I think you can have an entrepreneurial spirit and work for other people and have great success. And I don't think everyone's cut out for it, because there is a lot of risk. And my aversion to risk has increased. It hasn't increased, but it's definitely decreased over the years. I'm willing to take much bigger risks now because I know that they will pay off, and I've taken little risks over the years. So I think that's the biggest hurdle, is like, okay, it's on me if this fails, it's on me if this succeeds. And even with a team now, I was very fortunate early on in my career to learn and have mentors who were some of the first people at Lululemon, and some of the senior staff at Lululemon when it first started. And a lot of their culture really rubbed off on me. And one of the things they always said was accountability. And if someone on your customer service team, and you have a big, huge team, fails, truly that still falls on the CEO, because there wasn't enough communication, there wasn't enough training in place. So I think for me, what I've come to realize is, like, as scary as it is, I'm accountable for every success and every failure in my business, and I need to own that and not make excuses on any level. So I think that's the scariest part, is like, it's on you either way.
It's also the exciting part.
It is, absolutely.
It's so exciting to see, and I don't mean this, I mean this as a compliment, with someone who's a young entrepreneur. I mean, you've already figured it out. And that's the exciting part. Now, I've got friends, Sunny, that have reached out to me. They said, Mitch, we like what you're doing online. We like what you're doing with live streaming, but I don't want to be on camera. For whatever reason, they don't want to have their face on camera.
Yeah.
And I get that, okay? Having said that, I noticed on your Twitter feed this morning, pinned at the top, you had an article that something about 3 different ways to use video or live streaming without being on camera. Can you maybe just give us a short overview on what those 3 ways are, so that people that maybe have some of the same challenges might
Yeah, absolutely. Well, actually, if you go to my YouTube channel, it's the video that I uploaded last week, and I do a tutorial on each one of the options. But you'll start to notice right now, it's something that I've obviously seen because I eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff, is a lot of brands are creating video content specifically on Facebook, because obviously video performs the best on Facebook right now as far as the algorithm goes. And so they're creating video content, but usually the videos are just graphics, but they just happen to be made in a video format. So there might be some movement, or it might be like a GIF or something like that. And Gary Vaynerchuk has started doing this with his inspirational posts that he used to do that were just graphics. He's now turned them into videos. So that's one way of doing it. You don't have to be on camera because it's an image or just moving text. And the 2 apps that I mentioned in the video are Legend and Ripple. Both amazing apps. And you basically can type in any catchphrase or any hashtag, and it will turn it instantly into a little moving graphic video. So that's 2 ways, 3 ways really to make content without actually having to show your face.
And so when people are thinking of video, they don't have to think of having their face on the video. Like you just said, there are other approaches that people can use to tap into these platforms.
Absolutely.
And it's, now I just lost Jennifer. Did you lose her too at your end?
I lost Jennifer too. She said, don't mind me, refreshing again. So I think she's gonna be back in a second. There she is.
There she is.
Yes.
No, all good. Sorry.
It's all good, I think.
We'll cross our fingers. So I love the video that you were just referencing. I also really like, Sunny, that you have a series on your YouTube channel for people, and maybe it's not a series, but a variety of videos for people who don't want to actually be in videos.
Yes.
I think so often we think of social broadcasting where like our face is right there. So maybe talk about that some. What experiences have you had, and maybe success that you've had in either videos you've made or you've made for clients where like there doesn't have to be a person on camera?
Yeah, I mean, I've done animated videos in the past when I used to have my consultancy, and I was managing and working with clients. I would create video content and work with animators to create content that would tell a story using images, text, but it wasn't anybody on camera. And that's also a really powerful way to create video content. So I think, again, I always go back to like, I truly think that, and this is going to sound hippy dippy, but I am a bit of a hippie. So I truly think when people say, I don't want to be on camera, you got to dive deeper into that and figure out what's really going on with you, with why you don't want to be on camera. And again, it goes back to the fact that it has nothing to do with you, and you're fighting your own ego in that front. And it has everything to do with what do you have to share with the world? Because every single person, everyone who's watching right now and commenting, all of us, we all have unique gifts and talents. And I actually think it's quite selfish if you aren't sharing those with the world. So I always go back to that. But you don't necessarily have to be on camera to create great video content. And it's not always appropriate to be on camera to create great video content. You can do it through images, text, whatever else. And there's so many tools available. A lot of the times I'll just use Canva and I'll create images or graphics or whatever else. And I just plop those into iMovie and create a video that way. You also can hire animators. You can outsource all of these things to create great videos and create a great story without having to show your face.
Which I will say you have a tutorial. I'm doing exactly that on your YouTube channel.
Yes.
I was already familiar with Canva, and then I saw that video. I was like, oh my gosh, mind blown. You make it so easy.
Thank you.
So that's awesome. That's great.
Thank you. Speaking of Sunny's videos, one that really captured my attention recently is the one that you guys used the drone in. You did a lot of drone videos, right?
Yes.
And that's something I've kind of been playing around with. This weekend, I picked up a Samsung Gear 360.
Nice.
360 video, and we figured out a way to attach it to the drone, and we've been actually already out flying doing 360s. It's amazing. My question to you is, have you noticed, for example, using a drone, using something unique and different in your videos, has that affected the view rate, the length of viewing, the calls to action, or are you finding a more traditional video type of approach the way to go for most businesses?
It totally depends on the type of content you're producing. I do believe in, when it comes to promotional videos, so the promotional videos that we did for Boss Video Branding and also for my Facebook group called Be Your Own Boss, we used a drone for that video, and Brandon Lucero was behind the camera, my business partner, and really created the concepts for those videos. And I do believe that using the drone and having those aerial shots and having it look so professional definitely increased click-through rates, increased the amount of people joining the group for sure. But I think when it comes to educational tutorial-based videos, it's more so about the content than what it looks like.
Yeah.
Good point. So tell us, I don't really like to predict the future, obviously, in this space because it changes so fast. I mean, Exhibit A, our show, we started out on Blab and now we're on Huzza.
There you go. Yeah.
But it was a quick timeline. So for those of us who maybe do social I know we have a few people here who either have clients or they do social for their employer. What kind of trends, what should we be paying attention to maybe over the next 6 months or so?
I mean, again, I don't like to predict anything either because everything changes. So I don't think I'll make any predictions, but I mean, it's not a surprising answer from me. I just always am such a huge advocate and proponent of using video in every sense of the word. And that's why I created the course that I just launched, because it shows you how to use video and optimize your video for business on every platform. And I think a lot of the times people don't look at Instagram as a video platform or Snapchat as a video platform, but they are. And Snapchat has been so great because it's the easiest way to create video content on the go. And then you can take those videos and upload them to places like Facebook where they're going to perform better than other types of content. So I would just say, play around with video, get comfortable with it. Find the platform that you're most comfortable on and just start doing that more. And I'm reading a book right now called The One Thing, and it's a great read. But it's all about every successful business in the world has one thing that they focused on and started with. And let's say it's Starbucks. Coffee, that's their one thing. Obviously, they branched out into other things now, but they started with one thing. And so for me, YouTube was my one thing. That's where I started. And now I've branched out into every other platform, video platform, and leveraged those things to help my YouTube videos rank week to week and grow my audience even bigger. So I would say focus on one platform and really dive in, learn the intricacies, and own it. Don't try and spread yourself too thin and be on every single platform. And on the prediction front, new platforms always come up. For example, this. And you don't want to get too excited the moment a new platform comes up and spread yourself too thin the moment a new platform comes up. Stick to what you know and what's working for you.
That's great advice. I love that. And I think that's something that can't be repeated enough is stick to what you know, find one thing that you just really want to focus and drill home. So that's great advice.
Absolutely. You know, platforms come and go, relationships can last forever. So
Exactly.
that's what it's all about.
Exactly.
Sunny, for those of you just joining us both live and in the recorded version of the show, we're chatting with Sunny Lenarduzzi, who is a video live streaming marketing entrepreneur, speaking pro. She's putting out good stuff, you guys, and make sure you follow her. Sunny, you mentioned how you started with one thing, started with YouTube and you've been branching out. How important, right, having said that, let's look forward. There's nothing wrong with forecasting the future, giving your thoughts, okay? I mean, our opinions are like belly buttons. We all have them.
We all have them.
Right? It's okay.
I usually say another body part for that, but yes, go ahead.
And that just keeps me out of trouble, okay? So having said that, looking forward, I think we all understand the power of live streaming. I think we all understand the power of mobile. We have VR, we have augmented reality, 360, whatever it might be. Looking forward, how important do you think it is for people to take what they learned from you, from your courses, and adapt that so that it can be viewed on a mobile device? In other words,
so important.
It's so important. And then adding to that, like VR, augmented reality, and 360. Do you see these things as playing a larger and larger role in everything that you're teaching today?
Absolutely. I'm so excited about the future of video because there are so many different ways to present it now. And I mean, Pokemon Go was a prime example of that. And augmented reality is something that has been around for a long time. I mean, Snapchat was kind of the king of using augmented reality for the masses at the beginning. But there's so many companies who are jumping on that bandwagon now. And Pokemon Go was not the first game to use that technology. There are plenty of other ones out there for kids where they could view something on their screen and see a little figure or something running around in the real world. But it's just obviously Pokemon was a huge brand. So I am so excited to see what happens. I'm also really excited about 360 videos, particularly on YouTube, because it truly does bring people into the experience with you. And it makes you feel like you're there with them. And obviously vlogging has become a huge type of video content that's working really well for people. And I just think 360 video plus vlogging is a really great opportunity for brands to truly, truly, truly bring their customers, their clients, and their viewers into the experience with them. So there's a lot of creative ways that they can start using that.
So we all need to keep our minds open. We need to knock down those barriers and just let things happen. Just go for it.
Yeah. And I think going back to that, it's like all these things are super exciting and I'm super excited to see how they pan out. And there's going to be people who are pioneers in the space. I mean, Chris Strubb, who's in here right now, is obviously a pioneer in the live streaming space and has taught us all so much. But I also think it's a great idea to learn from these people who pioneer and watch them and sit back and don't necessarily think you need to jump on everything right when it comes out and learn from the experts. Learn from what they're doing and watch what they're doing and see how you can adapt it for your business and your brand moving forward.
That's great. And that kind of reminds me of what John Lee Dumas will typically tell people, like, if you have an idea and someone else is doing it, it's okay. Like, they're just testing your idea.
It's great. It's wonder. I always say that. I actually made a video on that. I was like, some of the biggest mental blocks that entrepreneurs have, one of them anyways, is you get paralyzed by the fact that there's other people out there doing it. But I look at that and I go, that's my proof of concept. They're doing it. It's working. They have a customer base and an audience. That means that I can do it and it's going to work. And nobody's going to do it like me. I can't do it like them. We're all going to attract different people and there's enough for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So Chris Strubb asked a great question here. He said he wants to know the best way for you to manage and your fans and other individuals who maybe ask you questions on your YouTube channel or social.
Oh man. Good question, Chris. And I talk to Chris quite often on Snapchat. I don't know if I have a really great answer for this because I kind of fly by the seat of my pants, but I do use things like Hootsuite. And I'm a big proponent of Hootsuite, not just because I worked with them. I've used them way far before I started working with them, but they have an amazing structure on their platform where even for YouTube, there's an entire stream of just your YouTube comments. So you can go in, you can answer them, you can assign questions to specific team members, and you can do this really for every platform. So I love using YouTube to manage my questions and to see things and answer things all in the same place, as opposed to trying to spread myself too thin and be on every single platform. On something like Snapchat, it has been one of the greatest assets for my business as far as customer service goes, because I can speak to people one-on-one, and there's so many different options for speaking to people one-on-one. You can do phone calls, videos, texts, whatever else. So, hi.
Bonnie Frank wanted to join us, and I'm going
Bonnie.
to pass my question and microphone to Bonnie. And hi, Bonnie, it's good to see you. Do you guys know each other?
Hi, guys. No, not really. So
Okay.
I heard Sunny's name actually first from Subi.
Oh,
but I
nice.
thought it was like 3 names. I thought it was like Sunny Lenarduzzi. So it took me a while to come to reality and figure out who the hell she was talking about. And then, I don't know, I saw something on Facebook or whatever. I'm like, oh, it's 2 names. That's the one.
That's me.
So, yeah. So, hi. Good to meet you.
Hi. Nice to meet you too.
Okay. So, and I just joined your Facebook group recently.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
Welcome.
So, so I followed you for a little while, like since you did the decorations on your wall.
Oh, yes.
Then, so that's
okay.
the timeline. The other 2 are like, what is she talking about? But at least you know. Okay.
No, I get you. I got you.
Yes. Okay. So I know a little bit how you've grown very recently, and I saw you take on the partner and all of that. How did you know? Like, I just built my business literally from the ground up on Periscope. So I am a very new business owner, but my business has grown rapidly and steadily. So how did you know when it was time to get a team, and how did you go about getting it?
Okay. So great question. Let's get real deep and personal right now.
Because I'm terrified. So go ahead.
I feel ya. Coming from a recovering control freak and perfectionist, I hear you. And it took me way longer than it should have, to be perfectly honest with you. And I think anybody who's ever hired a team will have that same answer. You always go, I should have done this earlier, because it is not possible for you to grow your business by yourself. And anyone who says that they are is lying. So I had my business, like I said, for 6 years, did it completely solo. And my breaking point was truly a breaking point. I did South by Southwest. I had a really great experience there. I did a ton of work. I got to host the Comcast Lounge. It was great. Then I came home, dove back into my work, was managing my clients, dealing with everything, answering emails. And that Friday after I got home, I was sitting at my desk and I was answering emails, and I had been answering emails for 3 hours. And I basically broke out into an actual physical reaction to stress, and my eyes looked like I had been punched in the face, and I basically just had a breakdown. And I was like, okay, I hear you. I need to bring somebody on. So I had Ayla working with me before in a part-time capacity. And then I was like, you know what? She needs to be full-time. I need to have her here working with me every day, and I need to delegate. And that's on me. And I have to take accountability for the fact that I wasn't very good at delegating. So the first thing I would recommend is you create 3 lists. You create your have to do, your don't want to do, and your shouldn't do list. So what are things that you have to handle that nobody else can handle? And those are things like, you know, client meetings. You have to be there for those. And then you do your shouldn't do and your don't want to do list. So your shouldn't do are things that are menial tasks that somebody else can handle, that you can delegate and you can teach somebody to do. And your don't want to do is just straight up, you're not good at it. It's not your genius zone. You don't want to do it. For me, that was accounting and bookkeeping. So I outsourced that almost immediately because it takes a lot of time out of your day to do that stuff. And honestly, for me, it's such a mental energy suck. And as an entrepreneur, as you know, you need all of that mental energy. So that's really what I did. I created that list, and I have it still written down in my office. And I have those 3 buckets, and I'm continually adding to them. And I'm figuring out what I can do and how I can still do what I'm really good at, which is creating the content, creating a community, and selling to people. And that's my genius zone. So I stay in there, I play in there, and I'm still having trouble delegating, but I've learned. And as far as the business partnership, I actually never thought I'd have a business partner. And Brandon and I are business partners on the course that I created. The rest of the business is mine. And he has his own business as well. But we decided to partner in this course because we are yin and yang. We have the exact opposite skill sets. So I just knew that it was going to make life so much easier for both of us if we just could partner up on this and join our powers. And he truly kind of came out of nowhere and contacted me because he saw me on YouTube, and he saw that I was outranking him in some places, and he was like, who the hell is this girl? Where'd she come from? And then we started having meetings and masterminding together. And then one day he was like, you know, do you want to partner on something? And then we decided to, and it's been a great experience. So a lot of it happens organically. I'm a big believer in organic, and I'm a big believer in listening to your gut. And also paying attention to signs. And I had 1,000,001 signs before I had that little breakdown. When I knew I should bring somebody on, I was scared to take the leap. And it's a financial commitment. And it's also a commitment up front as well to teaching people. So you need to know that you're going to have to take the time to educate the people around you, but it's short-term pain, long-term gain at the end of the day.
What great advice. I mean,
I love that. Thank you.
Bonnie, Dad, you're doing things the right way. I've been watching what you've been doing, and speaking from somebody with 30 years of entrepreneurial experience, okay, starting my law firm from the back of my car back in 1986. I can tell you what you're doing. It's all about activity. It's all about, there's never going to be the right time to start your business. There's never the right time to start a project. And what I've watched both with clients and friends over the last 3 decades, it's the people that take action. It's the people that execute. They quit making up excuses for themselves, and they just do it. And they see what happens, and they adjust. They change some things, and they keep moving forward. And that's where I see 99.99% of the people, they don't do that.
That's
okay.
true.
They're always waiting for the stars to align, and guess what? That never happens. It doesn't. So Bonnie, we're going to bounce you back out just to open up the chair, but it was really good to see you. And thank you
very much.
Yeah, she's doing good things. That was great advice, Sunny, because it's just one of these things where it just frustrates me so much when I see people coming up with one excuse after another, where it's all about activity and action. And you mentioned surrounding yourself with a team. How important is it to select the right team members, and how do you go about doing that? Because if you pick the right people, it's perfect. If you don't, it can be a nightmare. Any thoughts or suggestions on that topic?
Yeah, it's interesting. I had hired a few people prior to Ayla in a very part-time capacity. And I still at that point was not very good at delegating. So it was a lot of the ownership was on me that it wasn't really a success. But at the same time, I hired those people specifically for skills. And I didn't hire them for personality matches with me. And that's a big issue. So Ayla, when she first started, I hired her because the moment I met her, I was like, you're my people and I can vibe with you and we're going to get along and you're a doer. And just like you said, it's about activity. I actually hired Ayla and I said, for the first 2 months, I'm not going to pay you. And then I'm going to see how it goes. We're going to do like an internship style and then I'll start paying you. And immediately when she said yes to even that, I was like, okay, because who does that anymore? And I'm like, kids these days, I'm not even that old, but I'm like, kids these days just want immediate gratification. And I've noticed that like everybody who comes to who wants to work with me or with anybody else, they're like, so how much are we going to get paid? And if that's the first question out of somebody's mouth when they want to come work with you, they're not the right fit, in my opinion. They should be there to learn and to do and to help. And that's part of the reason I'm so grateful for Ayla, because she's here because she's invested and she cares and she wants to build a business and she's just as much a partner in this as I am. And so I always say hire for personality and a basic skill set and a do mentality, because people can learn anything and you can teach people anything as long as they're willing to learn. So those are kind of my criteria. And I know everybody's different, but that's really how I do it.
I love what you just said. I'm in agreement 100%. You know, life's too short to surround yourself with assholes.
Yes, okay? It is.
And I really mean that. And I tell people, surround yourself with people you enjoy spending the day with, who have a similar vision, whether they're an employee or a partner in what you're doing. Okay. That applies to business and life.
100%.
And it makes the journey so much more enjoyable. I'll just leave it at that. I think Jennifer bounced out at my end. Do you see her, Sunny?
I see her. Yeah, I see Jennifer.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Jennifer. I don't see you. That's why I kept talking.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. So we're gonna go ahead and maybe wrap this up, Jennifer, with your next question or two, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Sunny, with that, as we move forward, and people here, I'm sure they may still have questions for you. What is the best way for people to either get in touch with you or to follow what you're doing so they can learn more?
Everywhere. My handle is Sunny Lenarduzzi everywhere. And you honestly can talk to me on every platform. I'm responsive on every platform. And just tweet at me, Snapchat me, comment on my YouTube videos, whatever you want to do. I was
going to say your Snapchat is a lot of fun to follow.
Thank you.
You have some awesome friends. You guys do a lot of fun stuff. So that is definitely fun to follow.
Awesome.
So between the two of you, are you guys still engaging as much as you did, say, 2 months ago on Snapchat as you did 2 months ago?
I'm not creating as much content as I used to on Snapchat. But I honestly think that's just because, like I said about that book, The One Thing, with this course that I just finished, it was about 3 months of my life and I really just stayed super focused on it. And I didn't want to be distracted. So I kind of shut down everything a little bit, but I'm now getting more into creating snaps on a daily basis. And I want to touch on the Instagram stories Snapchat debate just really quick, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. I was going to ask you.
So that whole situation when Instagram stories came out, I think it's awesome. And again, I'm in the mentality of like, there's enough for everybody. And it's a huge compliment to Snapchat because they literally straight up copied the Snapchat platform. So obviously Snapchat is working. And so the whole debate of like Instagram stories is going to kill Snapchat, I don't believe that. And for me, business-wise, if you're a business owner, people are not going to Instagram specifically to check out your stories. So as far as engagement rates and conversion rates and screenshots go, it's not nearly as high on Instagram stories as it is on Snapchat. So my audience on Snapchat are my action takers. They're my doers. And when I share something on Snapchat, the engagement rates and the conversion rates and like directly selling through Snapchat, it's so much higher because people are going there specifically to find you and look at your content without any indication that their friends have watched it or there's any other algorithm in place there. They're just going there to view your content and they want to view your content because it's not exactly easy to find people to follow there. Whereas on Instagram, we're still natively used to using that platform to go through the feed and look at people's images and videos. And I'm not going there specifically to look at stories. It's kind of an afterthought as of right now. So as business owners, I still highly, highly, highly recommend using Snapchat and Instagram. Instagram stories for me are kind of like the fun older sister to Instagram photos and videos. It's like it takes you behind the scenes of the static content. And Instagram for me too is still all about branding and controlling your brand aesthetic. So you still need to be careful that in your Instagram stories, you're not being like too behind the scenes, too raw. You still want to have an aesthetic that somewhat matches the look and feel of your photos and your videos on your platform or on your profile.
That's a great point.
That's just my little rant on that. I really don't like when people are like, this is going to kill that. And what? And I'm like, oh God.
There's plenty of room for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's just it. There's always room for somebody at the top that's doing it right. And speaking about doing it right, what do you have planned over the next couple of months? Speaking engagements, upcoming projects, things like that you can share with our audience.
So I'm heading to London September 21st, and I'm speaking at Snap Happen. And I'm going to be at the Ghosties, which it's the first ever Snapchat conference organized by Jenny Can Breathe, who's amazing on Snapchat. If you don't follow her, she's amazing everywhere else. But speaking there on using Snapchat for business, and then I'm going to be in Atlanta for Bark World, and I'm speaking on monetizing Facebook and Snapchat for your business as well. I'm talking a little bit about influencer marketing too. So that's mid-October. And then I'm doing a live event in LA on November 2nd and 3rd for my course, for all the VIP members of my course. And yeah, that's kind of my travel plans. And then I'm taking December off.
Take some time off and smell the roses.
Yes. And I'm actually planning on doing that this week as well, because it's truly been a very busy and chaotic last 3 months. So
well, that sounds exciting. And that sounds great. Sunny, we really appreciate you before taking a short break, joining us today on the Show.live and
so
sharing.
Thrilled to be here.
The information you shared is just, so important for everyone to hear. And so thank you for being on the show today. Jennifer, that was fun, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, this was fantastic. Sunny, the thing that I love about you is that following you on all the platforms, seeing you at Social Media Day, like you are just true to who you are. And that's awesome. And I think that's pretty rare in our day and age. So it's great to see that, and it's been refreshing to talk to you.
That's the highest compliment I could get. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Then, ditto.
Thank you. And congratulations on your daughter, by the way, getting into USC. That is incredible. And you should be so, so proud. That's awesome.
We are, and thank you. And what's funny, everybody, is my daughter shared an email that she received from Sunny. I told you this at Social Media Day, where she had signed up for one of your courses, and I didn't connect the two of you. Yeah. But she independently found your course, and she was doing something. So what a small world.
Such a small world.
Social's bringing us all together. And, we're so glad everyone stopped by today to watch today, TheShow.live. And also the recorded version for those of you that are tuning in later. Next week, we have Joel Comm. Week after that, Gary Vaynerchuk. And then we have an amazing list of upcoming guests listed at TheShow.live. Join us, please. Share your questions, share your thoughts, and share your feedback. Jennifer and I have thick skin. We love to hear what you guys have to say about the show. And Sunny, we just want to say thanks for being with us today, and make today our masterpiece.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye,
thank you.
Have a good one.
Bye.